But Arsenal also making moves. Not done as yet, but set to sign Edu, their former player, an invincible, won a couple of titles, some FA Cups, as their technical director. I'm interested in your thoughts. I mean, he's currently with the Brazil national team. He's in a kind of general manager type role. What does it bring when the technical director is somebody who has played for the club and potentially understands the club?
I think it's very important that they understand, the ethos of the club and the way the club do things. But ultimately, the club's moved on since Edu's time. When Edu was there, he was winning Premier Leagues and challenging for titles. And
unfortunately, it's moved in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and he was with Arsene Wenger, who had a set way of doing things. He wanted to promote the youth, and as Tim was talking about promoting the youth and bringing young players through, like the Fabregases and people like that. Whereas now you've got a manager that it's totally different. It's the first new manager they've had in 20-odd years.
Yeah.
And he needs to sort of link in with him and see what he wants to do. But obviously, his Sven Mislintat?
Yeah, Sven Mislintat.
Mislintat. He was the perfect man for the job, but was passed up. He was in the technical director role, and then they made this sports director role, whatever, a bigger role. And they passed him up, whereas he's got a good track record.
Yep.
So it's more surprising that they've passed him up on the job to potentially go for, let's say, jobs for the boys type thing and employ a former employee, even though he might well be very good, but it smells of jobs for the boys. We'll get someone in that the fans will know, the fans will love, and it will all be good. I
mean, that would be a worry if it was the case. I mean, he's a very bright and articulate boy, Edu. But if it's to a PR stunt, the fans will see through that, won't they?
I think first and foremost what they need is to address their problems, and their problems are defensive problems, issues. Liverpool addressed it very well. They got probably the best technical director out there at the moment in Michael Edwards.
Yeah.
He has good communication with the owner and direct communication with Jurgen Klopp. Regular meetings, sit down, discuss football. What types they're actually looking for, which ones within their squad they're looking to get out, and that's what Arsenal need. I mean, their problems at the moment are defensive problems. So I would suggest, rather than Edu, I would give it to Tony Adams and someone of that ilk who knows what he's looking for regarding the centre-halves, because that is where their problems are. They've got the firepower now, Arsenal. I think Unai Emery's done a great job since he's been there. I really do believe he's moved them on. And he's moved them in the correct direction, but he's going to need some transfer windows. It's not all about throwing millions and millions of pounds at it. It's about buying the right personnel. And I would suggest it wouldn't cost an awful lot of money to get better centre-halves than what they've got at the moment. I think it'd be quite cheap, actually.
Well, the other things as well, it's not just that the buying has been poor, it's the selling as well, the Aaron Ramsey fuss. Yeah. And this has been going on for years at Arsenal, years and years. In terms of as a business, it's been absolutely atrocious, hasn't it?
Well, you see, obviously, Sanchez goes down to the line, and Percy before that had gone right down to the wire.
Yeah.
And obviously, Ramsey, I think, was a victim of Ozil. They set a precedent by giving Ozil the reported 350 grand a week that he's on, which is head and shoulders above everyone, probably other than Aubameyang. He's probably on something near that. But when you do that, and then you've got Aaron Ramsey that they're probably going into talks with and offering him maybe half that. And Aaron Ramsey's been twice the player for Arsenal over the time he's been there. How can you, as Aaron Ramsey, swallow that and say, well, oh no, I'll just take it because of my loyalty to the club? They didn't show the loyalty to Aaron Ramsey to say, well, hang on, we rate you as much as Ozil, we're going to give you this. And that's what's been the problem. And obviously with Sanchez, he demanded more money than he already had, and ended up obviously getting rid of him to go to Man United and things like that. But it's just the way they're doing things that it shouldn't happen at a top club like that. When you're a club that don't know if you're going to be in the Premier League or in the Championship, and you're thinking, well, I don't want to tie him down too long because if he's on big money down there, I won't be able to pay for it. This is Arsenal Football Club. They've got these players in. They've managed to spend the money to get those players in, which they never used to do. But yet you're not going to secure them for even longer. You look at Man United now; they're securing players that haven't even played really lately. They're giving them 4 and 5 year deals, which rightly or wrongly, I'm not saying I agree with that. Just throwing out 5 year deals, 4 year deals, but they've protected their investment at least.
Asset, haven't they?
Whereas Arsenal have sort of left it down to 2 years, 18 months, and then start pushing hard at a year, and then by then it's too late because
No.
they've had their heads turned by a Juventus, by a Real Madrid, by a Man United, whoever it is, and they end up leaving for nothing.